dangerous. Get dangerous. Shameless. Basic. Shameless. Get dangerous. That's right.
All right, good morning. It is Monday. Welcome to the stream. So let's jump right into higher time frame levels. We got our 4-hour chart, weekly profiles. This is last week's profile. We can see we're currently trading below last week's value area low. Our current session, we're below our weekly open print at 29,392. We're also below our volatility threshold, which means that we should anticipate seeing a little bit more acceleration through levels. The next thing we want to look at is our daily. So we have our daily high, our daily low. We've already taken out the prior day low. So a couple areas that we want to pay attention to. We did have this structure here where we ended up breaking out to the downside. We pulled back, and now we're beginning kind of the stair step down. So the question is, are we going to continue to see this level of resistance, which is also our Globex VWAP 279s, begin to act as resistance? During the session. So right now we kind of have what looks like a little attempt here to form a swing low, but there's two scenarios here. We either go lower, we displace through this low, we have some thin volume here. We could probably come back if we did go lower down to this node. We also have our expected move low at 28,762. So our expected range today is 29,985s for the high, 28,762s for the for the low. That gives us a 4,000 tick range today. So we'll see if we're going to be able to continue to stay structurally bearish. And if so, then maybe we can look for more low prices. However, selling here is a little difficult because we're already selling at the prior day low. So unless we begin to truly break down below and fail to hold the prior day low support, I want to see it hold as resistance, and then we can look for that short. So that's what it looks like here on the 4-hour chart. If we were just looking at overall structure, what I'd say is right here is kind of like the last point of failure. So we had this pop, and then from there we broke down, right? We sold off. They did come in, tried to retest that, couldn't even get to the level, and then we broke down again. So we've got this candle closure. Currently, we're dealing with this level, 29,300, as our resistance area in terms of price action. And at the same time, we're still technically, within striking range of this overall consolidation. So, there is a scenario where we may see that we do get a failed breakdown below the range. So let's actually take off the profiles real quick and just look at the actual area here. So we've got this little situation that we're inside of right now, right? So this is technically the range that we're in. And so, right now, because we are at the bottom of the range, it's very difficult to sell, right? We don't want to be selling the lows of a range. And so, yeah, the market is technically giving us bearish structure. On a daily chart, though, we're technically still bullish, right? I mean, we still have this swing structure that we created a few weeks back, about 3-4 weeks ago. So the main question right now is, as we begin to deal with this low from 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, you know, are we going to continue to stay bearish underneath this level and then find prices pulling down lower? And if so, we did see those nodes from below. Now, if I were actually not even looking at that, just looking at price action, you know, this would probably be the area where we may find more buyers or buyers stepping back in, because this was the starting point of this expansion higher. So we will watch and see. You know, structurally, there's that break. Price is now pulling back. And this could simply be a deeper retracement for a continuation. But at the same time, on that weekly chart, if you pull up a weekly chart, you know, it's kind of 50-50 in my opinion. So last week we sold off. We had a nice little failure here on Monday and we closed down. We closed bearish. And so we're currently trading below the weekly open. So this is what we want to pay attention to really determine if we're going to get some bearish price action, bearish pressure, or do we start seeing price begin to consolidate in that range. Let's go to the hourly chart really quickly. So the hourly chart, in terms of what's happened overnight, we can see obviously we've sold off. We've just had a consistent bear trend. Price just pulled back to our overnight VWAP. The overnight VWAP, by the way, guys, we've added some updates to our smart levels indicator. So we've added VWAP levels, we've added prior day highs and lows. We've also added extensions for the opening range and IB as well. Pretty important stuff. So looking at this right now on the hourly, we can actually see that this area has not been tested yet. And then of course, we also have this area that also hasn't been tested yet. So we've got a few battle zones overhead, some resistance that we might potentially, if price did want to rotate higher and look for some sellers, maybe that's where it is. We can actually see for the current profile that we've been basing here, our current POC is right at 210s. So we'll see if this level ends up displacing at the open, like meaning we actually get movement away from it, or if we begin to continue to hold this range. And if we do hold this range, right, so this is kind of where we're at right now, the current value area overnight. This is our little consolidation here overnight. Actually not overnight, but since what time is this? 2 a.m. Yeah, so London, we've been basically consolidating. So we'll keep our eye on these levels up top. And then of course, if we want to get bearish today, if price wants to sell off, we already understand the lower targets. If we were just using quarter levels just to keep it clean, it'd be like 29,000s. That looks like where they're trying to migrate to. In fact, if I were just to take off all the levels here, let's get rid of the low volume nodes. Let's go get rid of the profiles. Let's look at composite, get rid of that. And just talk in terms of migration, right? Key level migration. So it all started from 30,250s. So we initiated to move from here. We had this pullback to 29,250s, and this is what led to this expansion higher. Let me turn off my camera so we can see the levels. So that's the level. That's how this whole move began, right? So from this low to this high, and then from 29,250s, we've broken straight through 30,000. There was no support. Then we spent time here at 29,500s. So we consolidated here for a couple days, and then we broke out last Friday, found some support at 29,250s. They double bottom here, and now we're beginning to break below the level. So now the real question is, are we going to end up trading through this current consolidation within this overall range, right? So just like this range here, we could see that range was used as resistance, right? They built this value here, then from there came and rejected it. And now we've built some value again in this area. Are we going to see price continue to hold through this level? Or do we have a situation where we end up breaking back in and maybe come back and retest the top of this range? If we do end up breaking down and staying heavy, we already know targets are going to be 29,000. So that's what we'll be looking for here. I don't know if we'll get that here today. There's no catalyst today, but we shall see. So let's take a look at the Renko charts. Oh yeah, let's update that real quick here right before the market opens. Guys, we have added all the updates for all the indicators. We've released our order flow suite last night. We've simplified everything as well. So you can just download, basically there's 5 zip files, and all those files will have pretty much everything you see on the chart except for our M&W indicator because we're still testing that out. Every indicator now has a toolbar at the top. So just to kind of show you guys really quickly, making it super easy. Every tool that we have, so you have the ability to hide it, you know, so you don't need to have everything on your chart all the time. So if you're like, well, I don't want to see trend lines right now, let's take it off. Or I don't want to see the volatility zones, let's take it off. I don't want to see Enzo support resistance zones, take that off, keep the bands. Or if I don't want to see the bands at all, take off core bands. So you have the ability to basically customize your chart real time without having to click on any indicator settings, making it very clean and easy. So just want to let you guys know that that's already been updated. We got some upgrades coming this week as well. For the journal, okay, we got a push here, but again, we're bearish, so be cautious. Let's see if they're going to, I'd be looking at this level here. I'm watching 260s. So 250 to 260s, 275s, that's our prior day low that we're, that's overhead. So our prior day low is overhead. Let's drop that on there real quick. Okay, whoa, where's it at? Way up here, okay. 260s. Oh, I don't think I have enough days here to include Friday. I usually don't keep more than a few days on my Renko charts, but we will do that here just so we can get this rolling here. Oh, geez, now I gotta adjust the actual candles here. Okay, let me just shift the chart here real quick, guys, so we can I can get this thing updated here real quick. All right. FYI, if that ever happens to you, let's go here. If that ever happens to you where you change the number of days, you notice your bars change. I don't know why NinjaTrader's like update does that. So what you got to do in that instance is click on reset, restore, uncheck that box that says outline match. If you want your chart to look like mine, of course, it doesn't have to, but just saying. Outline, change body candle to what do you call it, black, change days to 5. Make sure you have your brick size correct here. If you don't have it here, you can always, if you have it in the drop down, it should be good. Then just hit OK. And then that should get everything back on track. It's going to load here. So while that loads, because obviously you want to watch price here, let's let that do its thing. The market just opened. It just opened, guys. So there's that dump right at 240s. Okay, let me just adjust this really quick. And we should be good to go here. All right, same as price. And then we got the heat. The heat map is also available too, guys, FYI. So you have that. You've got big trades, volume profile now. The whole shebang, the whole shebang. All righty. Wow, that was a nice dump right there. So we are staying heavy and looks like we are heading towards 29,000s. Sorry guys, just fixing one little thing here on my charts. Now we can get back in business here. Very nice. All righty. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the stream, guys. So that hourly chart right now, pushing to these lows. We just rejected off that value from last week. Let's see if we end up finding a bid here and they end up rotating a little bit. It is Monday, or they're going to get directional. We'll see if they're going to get directional here. Just waiting for my Renko chart here to update. Just give me a few moments here, guys. Few moments, guys. So ES right now is testing 670s. Get rid of that thing for right now. Okay, I think we're back in business, guys. Yes, we are. Okay, let me get rid of my VWAP on here. Don't need it anymore because we got it built in. Alrighty. No, my bars are too big, damn it. Hopefully that doesn't reset it again. All right, we're good. Okay, we're back in business. All right. So what I miss? We just had this big dump here at the open. So 930 print just took off all these lows. So popped up right into, created a failed W pattern into our supply zone or volatility zone. FYI, guys, when a W completes, there's two outcomes. It's either a reversal, like you see here, or it's going to be a pullback and then a continuation for another extension. So in this case, this was a reversal, and we knew the market was bearish, right? So we end up hitting the top of our band, and now we just completely dumped. We just puked right there. Got an offer here at, they just put 100 contracts here, and then they stacked it. So we made some updates here too. So we've this isn't released yet. We did update it. So if you guys are using liquidity levels, it does start clustering the levels. But the next release is going to actually start showing pulling and stacking versus executed, which is going to be really, really helpful. All right. So let's see what's going on here as we begin to start attempting here a pop. We got some resistance overhead. As you can see, we got the zone here that we just broke from. So the question is, do we end up using the support as resistance, or do we end up coming back inside 125s, give us a retest of these highs? Right now, the market is obviously selling off, but it's Monday, so we'll see what happens here. Gamma is technically positive, so we do need to be mindful of that. Borderline bearish, actually, so we'll see. The current real-time gamma. So we're in the bottom zone of our band, so we don't want to sell down here while we're in the green zone, right? So as long as we're in this green zone here, we don't want to be selling. We need to be waiting. There's a retest of VWAP. Are we going to basically reclaim the VWAP? What's going to happen here? So we've got some structure here that we need to pay attention to if we end up rejecting. Otherwise, it could potentially clear it, and then we see prices maybe come back and give us a deeper retracement. So we'll see. So we've got this high to this low, and I'm watching this pivot right here to see if they're going to give us something. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Hope everyone had a great weekend. So watching here to see, are they going to trap here by the VWAP? So right now, short-term structure is kind of giving us a pullback. So we got this, I got this little here, this little structure showing me that, hey, careful, you know, you can short this, but just be careful. Let's see what happens here. Creating a lower high here, a leg up. Are they going to give us a second leg? So let's see if they break this high right here. If they do, then we might see price pull back to zero gamma around 190. Oh, looks like they're rejecting there again. Let's see. Is it a trap? Feels like a trap. They're still holding trend, so just be cautious here. We got this little structure that we're forming here. Are they going to get a second leg up? That's the question. So we can watch Bookmap to kind of see what they're doing here. 125s reclaimed. Are they going to hold 125s, or do we get back under 125? Let's see. Here's price at 125. I'm going to take a scalp short. They reclaim 125. I cut the trade, no problem. Quick cut if that's the case. Let's see if they're going to hold it. Okay, I'm in short. Can we displace through this low right here and get an M pattern? If we do that, that would be good. And then we look for 29,000. That would be our main target for the session here. Near our expected low. There's our M pattern. There's the M. Can we get that break? I need to see a break here. I need to see this thing close down. So we're currently inside this other M. So we got a second leg. There's the M. Here's our retracement zones on the M. We don't want to see price pull back to these levels. There's 100 ticks right there, guys. Let's take that profit for a scalp as we pull back to our Gamma 5 level. There's the expansion. Goodness gracious. Good morning. So we just caught that nice 100 tick short right there. So that was a nice reclaim. So we had a VWAP pullback, right? They pulled back to our VWAP, our overnight VWAP actually. No, that's our, is that our overnight VWAP? Let's see if that's our overnight VWAP. No, that's our RTH VWAP. That's all part of auction map now. And then we got the M pattern. We had a 125 level above and below. And then we got that short. So that was good. Clean trade, clean trade. 100 ticks. We're just taking our 25 points at a time, maybe a little bit more. If we can build our buffer, then we can start looking for more, sizing up, taking runners. But right now we want to build that little buffer first. So trade number one was roughly about 80 to 100 ticks. So a pretty nice little pullback there. Double top scenario, M pattern. Good morning. Let's go back to the hourly chart. Oops. The hourly chart there. Yeah, there we go. Let's throw our profile back on so we can see what's going on. Okay, this is our current profile. Throw our composite as well. Composites for the whole week. This is for the whole day. Obviously, they're going to look the same because it's Monday. But I want to look and see, like, where are we going here? You know, obviously 29,000 is the level I'm interested in. So we shall see if that's, I mean, look at this candle. We're now expanding very aggressively through these lows. We're expanding our value from overnight. Nice little bid just came in for 100 contracts around 60s. And looks like they're pulling back here to 75. So we'll see if they're going to do something with 75s here. So pretty thin here as under 70. They just swept the level and kind of now building back up. So just being cautious here as we start pulling back to 0 gamma. There's 75s. Careful trying to buy this. So I would not be buying this thing. I would not be buying this thing, guys. Let this, if it wants to rip 100 points, whatever, I don't care. Let's just let it do its thing here. The hourly chart, or at least let the 15-minute candle close, and then we see what they do. Because ES is technically holding its structure low. It's holding the level I'm looking at 65, so 76, 65 are holding support here. It's also 0 gamma right overhead, so it's kind of like a battle zone for the ES. So I guess the main question is, are we going to end up displacing lower here, or are we going to pull back potentially up to 70s, 75s on ES? NQ staying heavy. There's that continuation plot. But be careful, because we've already broken out. So, I mean, the market is strong, but just be careful. Don't want to get caught at the lows, right? Wait for those pullbacks, wait for the failures. So they're aggressively bidding here, and they're still selling, and they're selling right through it, right? So these bids are just getting traded through like water. like butter. I have a third leg down now, so we have 3 pushes. So we're structurally bearish, right? We got this trend going here. Here's our trend line. So we've got our official downtrend confirmed. Well, it's actually been confirmed, but after this pullback, it just reconfirmed, right? We got the low, lower high, lower low. Got aggressive selling happening here. We're approaching 29,000s now. Are they going to be able to get to 29,000s? That's the question. Can they do it? Can they get there? There's another bid here for 100 contracts at 25s. This is MNQ order flow, by the way. So the bids and offers and all that. This is an MNQ chart. NASDAQ does have a pretty sizable bid right around 29,000s. Let's see how big that is. About 100 contracts. So that on the at NASDAQ, the fact that there's 100 contracts down there could be used as a initially to pop price up and then boom, fill those orders. Let's see. But here, I can show you. So I got a NASDAQ chart here on the right. Just put a large offer right there, and then now they're pulling. You can see them pulling the offer and adding. There it goes. They just shoved it right there into the bid for 100 contracts, and they filled. They actually sold into it aggressively. So that's our 29,000 level, guys. That was the main target that we were looking for on the session here today. Now, again, just because that's our target doesn't necessarily mean that you need to hold it to the target. Like we're just looking at where's price likely to go. And then, of course, trade in that direction. Look for your setups, trade into that direction. So I took my scalp for 25 points, 20 to 25 points. Now we're at the level. We still have the opening range here that's just about to get set. And now let's see how far we drop this thing. Opening range extensions. So we got an extension down by 25 down here. So let's see if we end up getting down there. So this would be a 100% extension move around 825s. I'm sorry, the opening range extension's down at 28,708. 708s. So price pulling back inside the opening range. Price pulling back now, guys. Got a nice little trend line break here. Are they going to give us an actual little pop here? What are they going to do? Watching 29,000s here to see if they're going to try to get a second leg up. Price pulling back. So just be patient here. Let it pull back. Let it do its thing. There's nothing to do. Okay, there's gonna be an attempt here. So this is that pullback. It just broke this level, created this structure, but be cautious here. Watching 29,000s to see if they're going to stay heavy under 29,000s. Probably a scalp here. As long as they stay heavy under 29,000s, no reclaims. We don't want to see reclaims here. We're in short there. It looks like they're trying to trap. Let's see. 29,000s. Watch the level. Watch the level. There was a buyer here at 80s, 980s. So it feels like they may use that. So just kind of watching here. But we're staying heavy. Nice offer. This came in. Let's see if we can get a pop here. Looking for that second leg. Can we get a second leg? They may need to pull back before they go lower, so I'm being mindful of that. It's watching 29,000s. Trying to rotate back up. 29,000s is acting as resistance, but they're battling here. They're beginning to base under 29,000s. Let's see. We're trying to get a rotation here. Okay, I'm going to cut. Let it do its thing. If it's going to reclaim 29,000s, then that's fine. We can always wait. Not in love with shorting under this level the first time we break it. I'm out. So I didn't take a loss on that. I just cut it for like 5 ticks profit or whatever. I just rather see them do a little bit of business here first before I try to jump right in thinking we get just straight continuation again. Market staying heavy. Rejected that 29,000 here. And now we're getting that push here for the lows. I'm not currently in a trade, so just waiting, watching. See if we get a 100% move here on the opening range. That would take us down to 700s, 28,700s. So 29,000 is held as resistance. And then we just got a 25-point drop. Actually, a 50-point drop. So from 29,000s to 950s. ATR is 120 per minute right now. ATR in the 30-minute is 247. Yeah, okay. We got to wait for that 30-minute candle to close. Got an offer here on the NQ that's pulling price up to 92s. Are they going to get back to 29,000s and reclaim? Kind of looks like it, to be honest. It's the first time they broke this level in like 3 weeks. There's a reclaim, or actually, sorry, not a reclaim, but an attempt of a reclaim here. There's 29,000s again. Okay, so that would have been a nice little 200 tick scalp back to the lows, but I was a little weary about 29,000s. I just wasn't thinking that they were going to just dump it like that easily. So it's a major quarter level, guys. Major quarter level. We just moved 500 points from overnight session, more than 500 points from the overnight session. We still have room down to 762s. Keep in mind that that is the expected one-day minimum, one-day expected low. So usually what they'll do with the opening range is they'll run the high or the low, and then if they don't just immediately, if it's a big range like it is right now, you'll find that they'll spend some time, maybe basing around the low or the high, depending on which side they break. And then usually you'll see some type of like pullback to the mid, or in some cases, if it's one of those weird days where it's rotational, they can take it all the way back to the other side. I don't think that's what we're going to get here today, but we'll see. We'll see what happens here. 29,000s. There's the reclaim of 29,000. We're going to double top here at 225s, so 29,025s. Looking like we're about to form a big W here. And we'll see if we get an extension into the VWAP, which is right overhead at 2950s, 29,050s. Some offers coming in. Let's see if they can fill these offers at 20s, 25s. So we're beginning to range, right? So to me, the fact that we took out the low but didn't quite close through it, and now we're back at the top, the high, this is beginning to form a range for me, right? This little structure here that we got. See on the 1 minute chart. So now I'm waiting to see how they handle this range. We're going to base here a little bit, spend some time. As you know, this is usually where, when the market's trending, we start forming a range. It's easy to lose money in this area here because you're anticipating the continuation. But then when price starts to range, like it just created that double bottom. So now the buyers here are going to try to like take back control of this option. So they're going to try to take price back to the VWAP and then get price back above the VWAP. VWAP's this thick yellow line that we got here. Let's throw our lug levels on real quick, see what we got. So we got big blue down at 700s. Oh, that's funny. That's the level we were talking about. So pretty nice little confluence there. Where's our yellow? Yellow's way up top at 250s. Yeah, so more than likely, we are going to make that move to 700s. So now the question is, how do we get into this trade? How do we time this so we can get in on that move if it's going to go down there? How do we get there? So look at how they're stacking the offer. So on the 1 minute chart, you could just see on the NQ, they're just stacking that offer from 80s to 40s. Nice little cluster here. We'll see if the buyers end up trying to take out those offers and maybe start looking for a pullback towards 100s. That was our last meaningful pullback that we had, or a nice little pause where we had that breakout. So for me, watching this level up top, that'll be kind of like our next supply zone overhead. Let me try to adjust this, take my camera off, let's walk in the chart. You can see the 1 minute chart here. So this was that move, we broke out. Now we're kind of basing inside this range. So now the question is, do we end up pulling back to this other range from overhead, this pullback area here, right? That zone. Let's put it right there, since that's supply and that's where we sold from. And we're currently inside this little base right now. Right, so now we're like, well, what are they going to do? Are they going to hold this range and then begin the migration back over here and test and then come back? Or do we end up just staying contained underneath, 29,000 becomes that battle zone? We get back underneath and then we look for a move lower. So that's kind of what we're just going to wait on here. Got a W here that just confirmed. So let's see, we have some room for it to complete its move, right? So typical movement on a W is usually the 25% to 50%. That's pretty standard across the board. If you can't get there, then that means that this is just going to fail, right? But we'll see what happens. New 30-minute candle just opened. 15-minute candle closed back inside. We have a 15-minute candle closure back inside the opening range low. So we never closed outside the opening range low. We formed the opening range low, they swept the 15-minute low and closed back inside. We're rejecting here at the top of the range. So we're still in this active W, so you got to be careful here. These are all retracement levels here, potentially. So usually we'll see price pull back anywhere from 50% to 78%. If it holds, and you get that next leg up. So maybe what they're going to do, it is a new candle, so maybe we get a pullback and then a second leg. Or a third leg. This is actually leg one. Actually, I'm sorry. This is leg one, pullback, leg two. So watching 29,000s again as we approach it. Do they get back underneath? We're beginning to start failing at 25s. They just tagged and supported price at 29,000s. So you can see they held that low. Now they're breaking back above the opening print of 10 o'clock. 15-minute candle should take out the prior 15-minute high here. Let's see if they can take out that high. Okay. Just watching here. I'm going to try the short here on this refailure to see if they're going to be able to stay heavy under 25s. It'll be a quick cut if they sweep this thing up. That 15-minute reclaim is that opening print at 10 o'clock. So I like how they reclaimed the 10 o'clock open and then failed right back below. We did get this structural break and a lower high failure, but I want to be careful because it could just be a trap. So we'll see. Looking for if we can get a closure back under 29,000s. Oh, yeah, boy. Let's go. Nice. Did you guys get that? Very nice move there, gang. Looking for 700s now. Can we get to 700s? Let's pay ourselves half. Stops at 29,000. And let's just see what happens. We can catch a nice little play here. Maybe we can catch a bigger rotation. So we're in short. We caught that very nice short on that failure of the 10 a.m. open print. So now just watching to see if they're going to stay heavy here or if they're going to support price here at the bottom of this range. So remember the range that we're in, right? So we failed at the top of the range. We had the buyer failure here. You got it, Brandy. Good for you. That's what I'm talking about. That green candle, as soon as they got underneath that green candle plus the 10 a.m. open, it was a wrap. It was a wrap. But we're still in a range yet. We haven't cleared the bottom of this range, gang. So just be cautious. They could pull it back, do a triple bottom. I mean, they can do what they want, 29 thousandths. But let's see if we end up staying heavy here. If we can displace through 950s. So what we want to see now is price just get away from the low of this range here, right? We got gamma 5 here, gamma 2 at 950s acting as support right now. But we got some nice bids below, right? We got some nice bids below, so we'll see. This could be our next target right here at 815s. If they can get out of this range. Let's see. ES did reject off of its opening range mid. So we got that simultaneous rejection there off that level. So that was nice. And it is negative gamma. We're in negative gamma. So we're seeing that type of accelerated move. You see what I mean? This is, but they're still holding this level here. So be careful. They could pull back up to 29,000s again. Price staying heavy. Let's see. Hopefully we can just, when they base like that though, you got to be careful, right? Because that's usually a sign they're going to pop it. Pop it again. It stops at 29,002. So if they reclaim the level, it's fine. I'll be out. Nice. Nice rejection there. They're still holding the opening range low, though, so that's the only thing we got to be mindful of. Let's see if they can take out this little low here. Let's give us an internal structure bearish here. There we go. Back in continuation mode. We don't want to see them break a high here. I don't want to see them trade back above this high, so I'm putting my stop right there. Looking for a move now. If we can get through this low, then maybe we see more, but they're trying here. They're really trying to support price at 75s. I'm just going to take that profit, gang. Just going to close that trade there. Just lock in that profit. That is my second trade of the session. So again, we're still in buffer mode, building the buffer. They held the bottom of that range, so I mean, they could surely displace through it. I mean, that's still obviously a possibility, but just gonna wait. See if we can find something, so get more here. Looking for, see how they're trying to take out this high. See, when they do that, you got to be careful. There's an offer right there too, 900s. Are the buyers gonna punch through that offer or exhaust here, and then we get that move? So this becomes a break retest of 900s. Watching here. It's tricky. You don't want to sell in the green. Remember that with the Enzo bands. We're still in a range, guys. We're actually, in fact, at the middle of the range. Okay, so we're in the middle of the range. We got to avoid the middle of the range. Okay, let's see if they're going to displace here. I will say price action is very clean today. It's been pretty clean. At this trend line here, got to be careful. Okay, now we're getting that movement away. So let's see now if we get that next leg down. Here it goes. Let's see. We get through 850s here, or 950s. Now they're forming another micro range here, guys. They're compressing after the rejection, the failure there at the top of the range. Now they're consolidating at the bottom of the range. Let's see. All right, I think it's gonna go. Let's see if it's gonna go. I don't know. Tricky here. You know, just to be safe, guys, just don't sell bottoms or range and don't buy tops or ranges. That's it. You know, at least when you're coming from the, if you're coming from the bottom, or if you're inside of a range like we are over here, okay, you don't sell breakouts. Okay, you don't want to sell coming out of the range because then you deal with that potentially. What you do is you wait for price to actually clear the range, then hold the range, and then you look for that next break and then you go. Okay. So kind of like here's an example of how that works out right here. So this would be a micro consolidation here, a micro pullback. You got 2-3 candle pullback. Price expands lower. Okay. And of course you could have caught this on this candle here. And then it's now beginning to base here, right? And so what in this instance, we didn't pull back to this area here, but here's what ends up happening. You see price pop up, pop down, pop up, and then over here, you get a very similar structure where you see a consolidation form, green candles, where the buyers are in control, right? Buyers take control from down here to drive it up, pull back, green candle up, pull back, green candle up, failure. So when price ends up trading through this low, that would be kind of like that continuation move. So on a bigger scale, that's kind of what we're dealing with right now, where we have this range. So we just need to wait for price to get out of this range, which it looks like it's about to. Then see if the buyers try to pull back into it. And if they fail again, that would be a more secure entry. But if you're trying to like sell the bottom of this range, you're basically selling where price bounced, right? We got this bounce here for like, yeah, just be careful. What was that? 364 ticks. So where do you put your stop loss at that point, right? If you're going to get short right here before we've confirmed and that we want to exit this range, you got to put your stop way up over here. So it's not right. So that's not the way to do it. I mean, you can do it. You can do it. It's just I wouldn't do it, right? And you can see right now the buyers are beginning to pop back up again. I wouldn't buy this either. And the reason why I wouldn't buy it either is because we are bearish. The higher time frames are bearish, right? Higher time frames are bearish. So here's the buyers trying again. So the buyers failed here, drop, failed here, drop, and now they're pulling back again, and then maybe we get the next drop, or it becomes a little thing where, you know, we're at the bottom of the range, you're building some pressure here, a nice little wedge. And maybe we get like a little pop and then the drop. So just be careful here. They're breaking out. They're trying to do so this is going to either be a spike and fail, or we're going to end up getting an extension. So leg one, pull back, leg two, and then we look for the failure back down. So price will either give us a single leg extension or a multi-leg extension. If we're bearish, we need to wait for that to occur here. So our indicator, the M&W, same thing with V rotations. V rotation plots it too. The only difference is V rotations isn't actually highlighting the actual M's and W's. So 29,900 also happens to be GEX 1. So they are definitely holding on to this level for dear life. So there's the spike. Do we get the fail or do we get another leg up? So we got leg one in process here on the Renko chart. This could be the spike and fail. Let's see. They're still holding 850s, or sorry, 75s, 975s. Pull back, held. Looking for an extension higher. I'm not buying this. I'm just narrating what's happening. They're going to try to get a leg up here. Let's see if they can punch through 9,000. It's 29,000. We're back in the middle of the range again. And then always remember, where did we fail? The buyers failed right up here on this 1 minute chart. You see this green candle? We haven't tested it yet. So they're going to try to retest this zone here after we got that breakout. So this is what I would probably want to see, is price come back here and then have them fail again for a double top, triple top. They did a triple bottom, so maybe it gives us a triple top. Let's see. So we're back now, migrating to the top of the range again. We got a W pattern here, confirmed, and there's room up to 29,044s. So we'll be watching now anywhere in the zone here for a possible failure. It's our big supply zone that we have from our volatility zones indicator. So 29,025s to 29,040s. Big bid just came in. They're stacking the bid, guys. They're stacking the bid. They're selling into the bid now. Okay, this might be the opportunity. Let's see. Got a leg one here. Are they going to give a leg two? I'm going to try a short, quick scalp here. It'll be a quick cut if they do reclaim. Stop is right at 29,010 above this little dot, a little above the pivot. Selling against 29,000s, but it seems to be holding up still. So watching here. And then we can target if we do break out. If we do actually get outside this range, then we can target our 28,826 level. Be a 500 tick target. We're testing the mid of our W pattern. Once we break that, it becomes a weaker W, and we should look for a failure here of a failed W or a completed W and reversal. So very nice completed scenario here. We got a little bit of profit here, about 80 ticks now. But they're still holding the bottom of this range, so just got to watch out. They could still drive it up higher. So I'm just gonna leave my target right where it's at, my stop, and then I could just manually cut if we get a strong closure back up. They're still holding the opening range low. They could give another leg up, so just be careful here. Okay, looks like they're trying. Let's see if they're going to succeed. If we could trade below this green candle here that just formed on the 1 minute chart, then I think we might see this thing push lower. But they didn't do it. Let's see. They're trying to pop it up here. Still in my trade, just watching. New 5 minute candle opens in 1 minute, so maybe that's what's going to happen here. If 5 minute candle closes, then maybe we get another move. We'll see. Holding 40 ticks of profit. Let's see if we get this move. Price at the market is thinking here. What are we going to do? Which way are we going to go, guys? Up or down? What's the plan? Okay, you're trying to drive higher here. I'm still in my trade, still holding it. D point is my exit, so if they continue to break that, then I'll be out of the trade at that point. That's a spike on a new 5 minute candle. They're trying to break here. Let's see if they're going to do it. Looks like it. Okay. There's a flip. I'm out. I'm cutting the trade, guys. Taking the cut. Taking the loss. So now we just wait. How are they going to handle this area here? Are they going to hold it up? It's still intact. It's still intact, actually. Watching 29,000s. Are they going to hold 29,000s? They got their second leg. So that was a pullback, nice retrace, and then maybe they're going to give an extension here. So we got some levels here, major positive. So at this level, we might start seeing some resistance here in this area. So let's see what happens. So we just hit a 50% extension here of this move. We are testing that 25 level. That was initially the level I was kind of interested in. So let's see. I'm going to try here again. Stop will be at 44s. So ideally we get this rejection of the zone here. And then we get that bigger move. So we'll see what happens. It'll be a quick cut though, because we are beginning to reclaim the 10 o'clock open print. And you may want to test that VWAP first and clear the zone. So I'm going to be mindful of that. I think they're going to run these stops here. So I'm going to be cautious here. Let it do its thing. I'm going to probably cut it and maybe just give it a chance to just finish its move and then look for that rejection. I don't want to be selling while price is ripping higher. I know we're at the top of the range. So let's just watch what happens here in this area. 15-minute is pushing up. 1 hour is above its open. They just reclaimed that level. So now watching here. Okay, I will try that. Let's see if we can get through this 13 level back at under the open print. Might be a little early still. The zero gamma is right overhead. We can actually, I don't want them to hold this D point here. If they hold this D point as support, then that might be dangerous for me, but we're good at this current moment. So we're up 40 tick, 50 ticks. They're pulling back. We got this trend line here, so I don't want them to start holding the bull trend and giving us higher highs and higher lows. Now I need to see price get back under 29,000s. They're beginning to hold this, what looks like an uptrend, so we got to be careful, but we're in this range, so we'll see what they're going to do here, 29,000s. There's 80 ticks. Let's see if we get that move back under 29,000s, so we can reclaim 29,000s. Very good. Nope, they hit it. Let's see, they're going to try to get back above again. This is where we can watch Bookmap. It's very helpful to watch the Bookmap at this, because now you're looking at like a micro structure, like a 15-second, 5-second microstructure of what's going on with price. You don't want to see them get back above D. If they get back above D, then there's a possibility this holds and then we get another leg up. So as long as we stay under the D point on my chart here, that price is 9/10. So this little W's D point, that can act as our resistance level. Stops going break even already. So we're risk free. We're holding 100 ticks right now. Let's just see if we can get this final breakout of this range. Say triple top, triple bottom. We're now at the middle of the range on the 1 minute chart. So you can see the 1 minute chart here, got the range. Just be mindful of this little up structure that we're in. We formed a two-legged correction here. And now we also have the middle of the range that we're in. So let's also map that. So I find it helpful just for teaching purposes here to know where the middle of the range is, because that's usually when we start seeing those levels break, that's usually where the buyers will lose control and then we see acceleration, and vice versa. If we break back above it like we did here, we get to the other side. So this was what's this pivot here? This is the opening range low that was acting as support. And we can see technically right here is where they were buying it, right? So we're holding 125 ticks of profit at the moment. Don't want to see price rotate back up above 29,000. So that D point is kind of like my line in the sand, if you will. But we still haven't gotten through opening range low. So probably got to pay yourself a little bit here just in case they're going to pop it back up again. So I'm going to take one contract off. And then once we actually do get outside the bottom of the range, if we do, then we can always add more and start trading more size. But let's pay ourselves in case these guys are going to continue to trap here and come up one more time. See if we can take out this low. I need to get a lower low here. Come on. We need to take out this little low. Anybody get that short? 100 tick, another 25 points there. But they're trying again. Getting back, they're trying to close back above the middle of the range. Okay. Okay, got I'm tagged out on my runner. All good. They reclaim that D point. They keep holding that opening range low, gang. So let's watch right here how they're going to handle this here. This could be just a little spike and fail. So I'm going to try one more time. Short. Hit it one more time. If they get above this high, I'll cut the trade right away. So just watching here. Watching book map here. Looks like they're trying to get back up again. Okay, we're in that short. Let's see. No, they're still trying to pop it. Yep. Top of the range. Watching that zone to see if it's going to hold or they're going to squeeze it out. Tricky, tricky, tricky. They're still holding it up, so just be careful here. 20 seconds, they could just rip the top of this range. So I'm going to cut the trade. Take that and cut. Nice, Rajesh. I'm glad you got that, buddy. Yeah, that was good. Good work. Not fair. So got third leg up here. Let's see. Are they going to keep this thing pumping or what are they going to do? Is it just a pullback? What's our next area of resistance that we should pay attention to? So let's pull up the 1 minute chart. We've got this level overhead at 100s, but we're also at the VWAP. So I guess the real question is, are we going to be able to hold above VWAP? All right, so that's kind of what I'm watching for right now to see if they're going to be able to stay and fail here, or they're going to hold it, support it, and keep it up, keep it pushing higher. 30-minute is technically pushing higher, but we're going into a current gap. So we just got to watch out right here. I mean, I'm not trying to buy the top of this range. So just going to watch and see how they handle this here, guys. Back above the VWAP, so they held the VWAP here. Are they going to sustain the move? Can they sustain the move? That is the question. Good work, Rajesh, on your W50 tick long. Very good. Watching 50s. Can they continue to support 50s? Let's watch that 1 minute chart here. Throw our smart levels on. That's our 50 level that we're testing. And this is our last one failure up in here. See if they're going to be able to get up into the zone here. So it looks like they're trying to break out of this range. So if this is going to start getting bullish, then what we want to see them do is when they pull back, they should hold and then continue that extension, right? So you got this trend line here that's acting as support. So you could see how they ended up giving us a higher high, higher low, higher high, and now they're extending for a third push up. Do they do that? Or do we end up holding their top of the range and then fail and get back underneath? So that's the big question, right? So we'll see. Nice W here, extending to its 150% mark right here. We have a double, so this second leg up also has an extension that we can look for, 78s. So I'm going to be watching now. We got this fresh zone up in this area, plus we got that confluence of a GEX 5, and we got this little area here. So we'll see if they punch through that area here. Price giving us some expansion here on the 1 minute. 15 minute is pulling back into its fair value gap. ES is also pushing back too, pushing higher. Got an offer here. Let's see if they take that offer out. 29 thousandths. That's the level. No, we're definitely breaking out at this moment. So at this point, we just gotta wait and see if they're going to continue this push. So 5 minute candle just closed up. 30 minute is still pushing higher here. Let's see, maybe 100s is that next level. We're beginning to test this prior structure here that we had just discussed. Let's see if they're going to do some business here. We're back under 75s. Watching. I'm going to try a scalp there. See if we can maybe stay heavy under 75s. Watching 75 here on Bookmap. Okay, they're holding 75. Okay, to stop out on that trade, trying to get that 75 breakdown. We're beginning to expand, so just don't want to fight this. Let it do its thing. We got to wait for a failure. That's the way to do it. You got to wait for the failure. If it's going to fail, then what we want to see is price basically get back under 75 and hold. We just cleared out those stops here, and we're coming back into that 100 area, this overhead resistance. So we don't know if it's going to hold or fail. So we got to just allow price to just show its hand, what it wants to do. Watching 75s. I still like this area for short guys. I just got to wait for the right timing. This big green candle, if they fail here, that'll be a trap buyer here. And then we could probably see the move lower. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for on the 1 minute chart. See if they're going to break down underneath this 1 minute breakout of 75. They broke 75, just looking for a failure back under 75. Let's see if they're going to hold or fail here. Watching. They're still holding. Okay, buyers tried a second time here. So we had a first pop into the level. Buyers here again, trying. So under 75s, we closed. Then we probably see price drop. If not, then continue to push higher. Watching. Still holding. 75 is acting as support. Buyers coming in again for a third attempt here. Let's see if they're going to be able to punch through these highs. If not, then they could eventually exhaust and we would roll over. So we'll see. Forming a nice little micro consolidation here at these highs. Okay, and they're going to pump through these highs now. Let's see if we get that move. I'm not interested in buying, guys. Leaning short pretty much for the next hour and a half, 2 hours, just waiting to see if price is just going to give us just wondering if this is a deeper pullback versus a full rotation back to the other side of the opening range. There's our gamma 5. Now we're testing this prior supply zone here. Let's see if they're going to trade through this. Watching here to see at GEX5 how they handle this area here. So you obviously know that this area, if you're watching the 1 minute chart, this is where they've been buying up. So let's see if these buyers are going to continue to support price, or is it just a test of this area here? So watching this little area here to see if they're going to do something with this. GEX5 here as well. It's also the opening range mid. Looking for price to see if we are going to stay bullish here or if we fail. Get back in and get a nice little prime short here. This will be a prime short signal, which is a different type of signal than a W and an M. So when we get very extreme in a downtrend, and then we snap back to the other side. So in order, usually in a downtrend, you're going to get these deeper pullbacks, or in any trend, you're always looking for that rotation, that deeper pullback to reload the entry. Because when price is consolidating at the low of a range, that means that sellers are exhausted down there. So they need to find more sellers. And where are sellers? Sellers are going to be at higher prices. So that's why we're looking at this upper area here to see if this is where we start seeing some sell pressure come in. And yeah, they're selling. So I'm going to take that short, guys. I'm going to go ahead and take that attempt. We got a big buyer who came in for 130 contracts on the offer, took out the offer. So we're shorted against the GEX 5. My target for the session is still going to be the big target. I'm going to go for that big target on my runners at 826 down to 700s. So we just got the first buyer failure there. So now the question is, can they hold? So I'm taking my partial on that prime short signal for 100 ticks. I'm not going to break even just yet, but we took that partial. Now let's see if we can catch more. I do need to see price stay heavy. I need price to get back under 75. If we can accept back under 75, then that would be good. Otherwise, we may run into a situation where they could continue trying to take this thing higher. So we'll watch. We will watch and see what they do. Buyers are trying again here. So let's see if the buyers are going to be able to get another leg up. Paid myself a little bit. So let's see if we can stay heavy here for a prime short. Watching our inversion here to see if we get some resistance here. Re-entry, add some more contracts maybe. Let's see. Maybe not. Maybe you shouldn't have done that. Quick cut above 100s. Let's see. They're kind of trying to pull back here. So they're going to try for another attempt at the highs. Oh, damn. Okay, I'm out on that trade, guys. Cut the trade quick at 100s. So did not want to continue to hold that position there as they started reclaiming here. Got a flip. They're going to probably push it up for the next attempt here for the high. So cut that trade there. And we shall see what they're going to do with these highs here. So the buyers are still kind of holding up here, up in this area. So we did get that first failure here. They reclaimed it. So we'll see if they give another second failure or if we do get a breakout here. So this is now a new area of consolidation that we're in, watching to see if they do a double top or if they're going to break out. Watch this 100 level. It's a very important level, guys. Probably best to wait for this 1 hour candle to close. So if we just look at the 1 hour chart, we can see on the 1 hour chart here that we're just pulling back into this prior zone. So we'll see if that's where they're going to take this thing. There's a rejection there off of 100. Will they be able to stay below this level here? Let's watch. In short, might be a big M pattern forming here, gang. We'll see what they do. I'm still holding. Okay. Yeah, they're still holding this thing up. Careful here. This is the second attempt for the buyers here. They're going to try to get a breakout. Buyers getting stuck here. Let's see if we get displacement through these. We're actually pulling right back now to 80s, 75s. Let's see if we can get through 75s. No, they're still here. They're still active. They couldn't get that flip. They're still holding it up. Tricky. Still in the trade. See what happens. Just watching. Buyer's about to get trapped up here. Sometimes you got to learn how to sit in the fire. It just means you just got to size down. You should have no problem sitting through that and accepting it, because at the end of the day, when you're in a trade, you got to already accept the fact that it's probably going to be a loss. So whatever that amount is, you just got to just accept it for what is. It's like, okay, cool. And then no matter what price does, wants to rip the level, punch the level 15 times, just like, fine, whatever. Let it do what it needs to do. It's going to stop you out, stops you out, fine. You already accept it. So gotta watch out here. They left that nasty wick there on the 1 minute to see if they're gonna trap and then squeeze one more time, or if they're done. Are the buyers done? We still have a minute left for this hour candle to close, so there's a possibility they can come sweep that high again. So just be mindful of that. Technically in a consolidation at the moment above this range and underneath this range. So kind of watching these support levels here and resistance levels to see if they're going to hold, or if we start breaking down. So ideally we start seeing price start failing underneath 70s. So this yellow line right here would be kind of like the area we want to see price fail. And then if that's the case, then we would get that bigger move down. And that's what I'm hoping for, so we can get that main target down below the 800s. This is a pretty nice pullback. So hopefully it's just a pullback, not a reversal. Well, we'll see. We need to get some movement here. New 1 hour candle about to open up. Let's see if they're going to come back and test that wick at 111s. Nice. Big rejection there. Sort of, kind of. So they rejected this buyer here. Right there at 99s or 100s. Nice little attempt. So buyers tried again here once. They tried it twice. Tried again here. Let's see if we get displacement now. There we go. M pattern. Let's take our first partial. Taking half off there on that test of the low of the range. Stops are a break even. And we're going to hold this runner here now. See if we can catch this move. See if they can stay under 75s. So this is scalping 101. I'll take a little bit more off there just in case they want to hold it back. So we'll pay myself. And then we can just maybe hold. If this is the move, then we can probably stay in this trade back to the lows. Got an M pattern here. Can we get an extension? I need that D to expand. We need the D to expand here. Stay under 75, push back down to 29.50s. Because that run up on the 1 minute, I mean, was very thin, right? It was very thin move up. So you can even look here on the heat map on the right. This heat map here, very little volume traded here. So maybe we end up just trading right through it and get back into this bottom of the range, into this range. So this would be my ideal scenario. We consolidated here, we expand underneath, we failed to get back above, and then we start trending lower. That's what I'd like to see. Of course, it doesn't have to happen. The other scenario is they hold this trend, so we end up getting this trend line, hit base, pull back, we hold, and then they give us another leg up. So those are the two scenarios I'm watching right now, but I'm in short. I already took off about 70% of my initial position. And now we're trying to hold these runners. If in fact we do get at least maybe a retest of 29,000s, that'd be nice. We'll take more off at 50s, take more off at 9,000s, and then try to hold for the main target if we can get down there. So we're now holding the bottom of this range. We had this consolidation here. We're holding here 70s. Okay, so we gotta be careful with that because they can pop it right back in. But now we're below the 11 o'clock hour. So ideally we stay heavy underneath 11 o'clock open print, which is at 82s. And we do not reclaim the middle of this range here. That white line. They did buy a lot in this last 30-minute window, so they did get bullish on that 30 minutes, so that's good. We do want to see that positive. We want to see the buyers come in and step up because it means that the delta, the positive delta on the 30-minute, we got a lot more buying and selling, which is good. But technically what that means is there's passive sellers that stood in the way. And the fact that price couldn't break above 100s and stay above 100s means that those buyers were absorbed. So if you're using Big Trades Indicator, you'll see these bubbles at the highs. When you start seeing aggressive buying, that's denoted by the big green bubbles at the highs, and then failure to continue higher. So pullbacks continue to fail. So as an example, right here, they pulled back, failed. Okay, tried again here, and then failed. Then this pullback here, failed. We have multiple points of failure along with large selling at the highs. That's what we call prime signal. It's a early entry signal, so it's not confirmed, but then now we got the M pattern that's confirmed. So now we have, so it's two different type of entries you have there. You have the prime, which is just straight up off the level, short, boom, meaning large volume absorption. We get extreme. For this, we like to use the Enzo band, 75% band. The 75% band is like the last extreme after they go outside, back inside. So if you notice, it might be hard to see, but this little pink band here, I'll get rid of the volume zones here for right now. Right there, they came in for the retest, and that's where they couldn't get back above. That's why I stayed in my trade, and then bam. So very nice. We're up 883 ticks on this trade now. Taking another contract off. Let's see if we can get back to 9,000s. We'll take the next target there. We're testing the VWAP. Remember, those thin volume traded on this run up, so there's really nothing to hold price here. You know, it means there was really no interest in this area. So now we see if we get back inside this range. We get back inside this range, this setup becomes a failure above the range. Range, breakout, double top above the range, back inside the range, and then we migrate back to, we get a full rotation. So this is what it is. Consolidate, breakout, which is a fake breakout. So it's a breakout and fail. Try it once, try it twice, they try the third time, and then boom. And this is what we would want to see. Once we get back inside the bottom range, boom, look for the break back in. All right. So we got to get back inside the range. What's that price level here? 40s, basically. That yellow line right here. So we get back underneath 38. This becomes, it's going to act as resistance. That's what we want to see. Otherwise, the other option, always look at both sides of the coin. Okay, guys, you got to look at both sides. They could use this as a pullback and then take it back up again. So that's also something we have to consider as a possibility, because we are pulling back to the VWAP. So the real test for the buyers, this is the last chance for the buyers, right? They fail to hold the trend up here. They fail to hold trend above 75s, right? They failed to hold it there. They spent time here too, about 30 minutes they spent up in this area. And so now, but other buyers are going to be buying pullbacks to VWAP. So this is the next opportunity for the buyers to really take control of this thing. If they can't take control of this thing, then they will exhaust, and then, like I said, we will see rotation. So this buyer here was that buyer that failed the range. This green candle here. So this guy right there failed. Let's see if we can get a move back under 50s here. Look at the volume profile. It's pretty thin in this area here. Oh, no problem. I hope it helps. I hope it helps. Let's see. We're now testing 0 gamma. So again, battle zone. We'll see what happens here. This is always interesting to watch when we get into this type of scenario. But now you can just kind of use basic support resistance concepts, right? I mean, nothing fancy here. Just as long as we continue breaking support, like the green candles keep failing. I mean, just that's kind of like, okay, I'm not going to be a buyer yet until they start succeeding. But at this point, like I mentioned, I'm overall bearish. So whatever. I've already paid myself on the short. So I got my little runner here, kind of break even, plus some points. Let's see, about 7 points profit just in case. Keeping my targets above the 10 o'clock open. I'm sorry, 11 o'clock open, my trail. So I don't want to see it reclaim that level. So we'll watch what happens here. I gotta be careful now. These guys are trying. Taking it back above this area here, then maybe the buyers are gonna get a deeper push. So it's gotta be cautious. And there's an extension here by the buyers are coming in. So the sellers just kind of like got stuck down here, but let's see if these buyers are for real, if they have enough to reclaim this move. Otherwise, I'm going to probably add some more contracts. So added one more contract there on that pop to the 50 moving average on the Renko chart. Now let's see if we get an extension lower now. So just added some contracts here on that pop, looking for a drop. A pop and drop, let's go. ES is also trading down. So it also did a kind of a similar structure there. So 29,000s will be the next target if we can continue staying heavy. So if we can continue staying heavy, 29,000s is the area I'd be interested in. I'm going to trail now my stop to 75s. And let's see what they do. There's support and price here at 50s, so just be careful about trying to short down here. Buyers trying again. Buyers are trying to get back inside that range above 70s. $15-minute closes in 2.5 minutes. Buyers are taking control of this move. There's the extension. There's the large buyer. Do they get absorbed by a passive seller here? Or do they succeed in taking back control if we get a reversal bar here and we get back under the 50 moving average on the Renko chart, that would be an opportunity to add for a short. If not, then they could take this thing back up, and then we end up getting tagged out on our trail, which is also perfectly fine. Buyers did succeed in reclaiming the 75 level. Let's see what they're going to do. So I got tagged out on that trail there, guys. But still watching this area here. All right, one more time there, short on that reversal bar. And let's see if we can get a follow through now to the downside. Took that short against this large buyer who bought aggressively. He got absorbed against the 200 moving average. So initially it was a 50 I tried, and then they took it back up, tagged out on my trail, came in again, and then took it short against 75. Let's see if we can get through these lows. Watching the 50 levels where they've been trying to support price here, but hopefully we get a continuation move here. If we get to this little next bearish rotation, this will start a leg down. So we have a second leg down, looking for a third leg down. And then we can get towards our extensions down below here. We have 100%, which will probably be the next target I go for, into 150. And then obviously the main level I'm interested in is 9,000s. And then below that, our main big target for the day is 826. I'm taking my partial for 15 points, stops at break even. And then for this, we'll just let it run if we can get through these lows. I'm going to try again, it looks like. Are they going to do a double top here? They've already tried twice. Let's see if they're going to do it again. Pay yourselves, because we're technically 50-50. Could rip higher or rip down. So structurally, it's kind of like balanced here. They're still holding this low volume node on the left, which is technically a 15-minute fair value gap. It's also VWAP. I do like this buyer failure here. So at 62s, they came into this guy here, closed up and immediately rejected. So now I'm going to watch this guy here, 58s. So that last green candle was the last buyer who failed in this sequence. Last buyer who failed was at, 29,059 is this green candle. Boom, close underneath, he failed. The buyer failed here. So we'll see now if they try again and reclaim and then take it back up. Whenever they leave these nasty wicks like this, guys, got to be careful because they usually like to come back and repair that. So I'm using my 75% Enso band here as resistance. Hopefully they stay heavy under the 75 band here. Watching as they retest 58s. For micro entries, you could look at the book map. If you have book map. Oops. And 50 would be your level. Just got to be careful selling into the lows here. Watching 50. 50 is this white line here. Every white line you see on the chart are actual quarter levels on the NASDAQ on book map. It looks like they are holding 50s, watching 59s for this level here to see if they use this as another failure point for buyers, or if they're going to end up taking out, trying making another attempt here at these highs around 80s. Hopefully they trap buyers again. Buyers just holding structure here. They're trying to get this thing back up again. Looking for a failure back under 59s, but I think they may try to spike one more time. So I'll probably end up getting tagged out on my trail. Proper stop loss placement should technically be up here, but it's already 11:20, so I'm not trying to give back any more profit. But yeah. So I just leave it right there for now. It's fine. Okay, there might be the opportunity right there. These guys here watching 60s to see if it holds as resistance. Added some more contracts. Let's see. Hopefully they do stay under 60s. Okay, very nice. 50s again, retesting. And take a partial again at top of the range. Taking that partial already. I took another 5. I added some contracts on that 60 break. And then now we're break even again on the last 2 contracts in case we get displacement through the low of the range. Okay, tagged out on my trail. All right, gang, I'm gonna call it here. Locked in some nice profits here today. A little over 500 per account just on this rejection here at the highs. So it's 11:20. I'm sure we're going to see probably price stair step down again. So there will probably be that bigger move. But there it goes. Actually, there's that breakdown. Let's see now. They're testing top of the range. If they stay heavy under here, that 59 level was that re-entry opportunity to get short on the breakdown of that 1 minute. So it started here with that first green candle fail. So here's how it transpired. Let's kind of go through this and then we'll just wrap up our session here today. So we had this big move up after consolidating for about 45 minutes to an hour. Then they spent time here for about 30 minutes consolidated. And then what you want to pay attention to, go back to your charts later today, look at the last point of failures where the buyers failed. So what that means is basically big green candle followed by red candles closing underneath. That's buyers that are failing to support price. So the first one happened here on this pop up into 110s. Then they came back, broke the low, came back one more time. The second one occurred at 98. That's when I started getting short. Actually, I started short over here. And then I cut it on the pop back up and then re-entered again on the breakdown. So 988s, we failed here. And then they continued to fail again right here at 86s. So these green guys here, the candles here, close underneath, fail. Then we got displacement lower. Now, not only did we have individual candle failures, but then we also had this consolidation that ends up acting as potential resistance. So once we start leaving that area, now this becomes an area where we expect as price pushes back, it can act as resistance, overhead resistance. But it's a little difficult because we're trapped between a range below and a range above, and we're literally in the middle. So that's why I'm a little bit more tight with my stops and not just, you know, letting it run against me too much. So the next scenario was when we started popping right back up. Last point of failure before we left this range was this green candle right here, right around 67s. And you can see how that level held as resistance. Yes, they wicked through it, and that's what price will do. And this is why it gets a little tricky, especially with negative gamma, because you'll see price kind of like rip through levels and then turn around and whatnot. But then again, as long as they don't close above it, you know, that's fine. They can wick all they want, right? That's why stop loss placement is important. And then from there, they had the next failure happen right underneath this guy here. We shorted that. We got short again at 60s and made some money. So even though it was a small range, we did pretty decent on that. And then I did mention, watch out for this nasty wick because it'll probably come back and repair that wick. So I guess the key right now is to see, are they going to be able to get back inside this prior range and accept? And if they do, then they may give another leg up. All right, they start holding here and then trade up higher, or this is it. They repair this. That's all they need to do. And then they come back and take it down. So that's it for today, guys. I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks for tuning in. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. For those who are members, make sure you go into Dynasty HQ. Let me just show you really quick so you can see exactly where to go to get all the good stuff. Let me pull that up. Let's grab that really quick. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. All right. So when you go in there, just go to the download section. It's the full suite. Click on downloads, and we actually have, you got to download core components first, then the auction map suite, Renko Vola suite, Renko Vola hotkeys, which is Vola stands for volatility. It's just too long of a word to type it all in there. Then order flow suite, and then we have the different workspaces. You don't need all the workspaces and all the templates. It's up to you. If you're using level 2, meaning you have level 2 data, then use those workspaces. If you don't have level 2, then just use the ones that say no level 2. But everything's built into this. So with the auction map, we've got the updated smart levels, which has quarter levels, mid levels, IB high, opening range, VWAPs, and overnight and prior day highs and lows. We got the gamma levels in there. With the Renko suite, we have everything, the zones, ENSO, ATR, volatility bars, everything, right? Hotkeys, you obviously know what that is. And then the order flow suite has the new heat map, has the upgraded big trades indicator, upgraded liquidity levels indicator, and a new volume profile, which is customized for our specific use case, how we like to use it. So all that stuff will be there. I'll have videos here in the next day or so on the specifics of all the details. So check it out. All right. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, take care. Have a great day. And it looks like they are reclaiming that range. Got a nice W pattern here. So just be careful. All right, guys.